So, 8 Senate Democrats have joined Republicans to advance a deal to end the 40-day government shutdown. I have thoughts. This may run long. Grab a cup of coffee. Let's talk. I've got my notes over here. If I seem aggravated, it's because I am. First, let me say, I know that this was a lose-lose situation, right? If the Democrats signed on with the Republicans to open up the government, people were going to lose health care. If they didn't and let the government stay closed, it was going to be a battle for SNAP benefits. People were going to starve. So I understand that this is a lose-lose situation. But I am sick and tired of Democrats always setting themselves up for the loss, which in turn sets the American people up for the loss without a fucking fight. So what does the agreement include? The agreement provides funding for most federal agencies until January 30th. It reverses federal worker layoffs that occurred during the shutdown, and they will be paid back pay. Here's where it gets frustrating for me. The deal includes a promise. People are calling it a pinky swear promise from Republican Senate leadership to grant a December vote on the extension of certain Affordable Care Act health care tax credits. However, it does not guarantee the passage or even a House vote on extending those subsidies. Yeah, the Republicans promised to grant a December vote. The Democrats can write up the bill. The Democrats can write up the legislation. I'm guessing they're going to try to work with Republicans on this bill, and then it's going to go for a vote on the Senate floor. Doesn't guarantee that the senators will vote for the bill. And even if they do vote for the bill and it goes to the House, Mike Johnson has already said that he has promised nothing to no one when it comes to these tax subsidies. Here's what he said.
He's offered them a vote. You know what they told him in response? No, we need you to guarantee the outcome of that vote. Well, that's ridiculous. That can't be done.
From the Senate, will you assure the House members that they'll get a vote, House Democrats, they'll get a vote on ACA subsidies by date certain?
No, because we did our job, and I'm not part of the negotiation. The House did its job on September 19th. I'm not promising anybody anything. I'm going to let this process play out. I'll tell you what they wanted. I'll tell you what Schumer and Jeffries wanted. In fact, Chuck Schumer said it publicly and decried that Thune and I would not go in a back room with them and make a four corners agreement on Obamacare subsidies. And I said, there's no way. That it was never possible or appropriate.
So in December, when they create their bill and they go over it and they do their debates and they go for the vote, even if Republicans vote for it and send it back to the House for them to go over it and do their part in it, there's no guarantee that one is going to pass the Senate. There's no guarantee that Mike Johnson will even bring the bill to the House floor for a vote. And even if Mike Johnson agrees to bring the bill to the House floor for a vote, there's no guarantee that it will pass the House. 8 Democrats caved for no guarantees. Nothing. So now that I've broken that down, here are my thoughts. It was a lose-lose situation. I've already mentioned that. Republicans are running the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, and the presidency. Government workers will now begin to get paid again, and they will be paid back pay. SNAP recipients will start to see their funding back on in their accounts. They can go out and buy food. I will still continue to do what it is that I have been doing, what I have been planning, because, yeah, none of this really changes anything. Those who get their health care through the Affordable Care Act, they will see their premiums double, triple, sometimes quadruple, which will make it unaffordable for millions of Americans. And so millions of Americans will opt out of health insurance. They won't have health insurance coverage. Now, I understand the political strategy behind all of this. If in December there's no extension for the Affordable Care Act tax subsidies, it will hang around the necks of Republicans. I understand that political strategy. If the Republicans don't follow through with allowing the Democrats to bring legislation or bill to the Senate floor, that too will hang around the necks of Republicans. And the Democrats are thinking that MAGA supporters will go into the voting booth and hold those Republican congressmen and women accountable. Are they not paying attention? These MAGA nuts out here in these streets, they revel in the fact that these subsidies are being snatched away. The cruelty is the point. They may very well partake in the Affordable Care Act, but they revel in the fact knowing that if those tax subsidies are taken away, then they've owned the libs. And that's all that matters to these MAGA nuts. It's owning the libs. Furthermore, why are we trusting Republicans to do anything that they pinky promise to do? For years, they have been lying and backstabbing in Congress. They are liars and backstabbers. It's going to be interesting to see if they follow through. I'm not holding my breath. But I understand that too is also a part of the political strategy, in the hopes that MAGA supporters will revolt against Republican congressmen and women for not following through. I won't hold my breath. These are the 8 Senate Democrats that joined Republicans. I want to point out that of these 8, they aren't up for re-election in 2026. I think they are up for re-election in 2028. And there's a couple in here that are retiring, right? So for those Senate Democrats that joined Republicans that will be seeking re-election in 2028 or 2030, they are betting that you voters will forget that they caved. I won't forget that they caved. And I'm hoping that you won't forget either. I also believe that these 8 Senate Democrats was getting pressure behind the scenes from their corporate donors. The government shut down, money's not flowing. Yeah, their bottom line was being affected. And so, yeah, I believe they added pressure to these Democrats to capitulate. So in the end, 8 Senate Democrats caved. With all of the momentum from Tuesday's elections, they decided to cave. So the Democrats, these 8 Senate Democrats, caved. For what? For what? Healthcare costs will explode. Millions will lose health care insurance. Grocery and gas prices are still high. Medicare and Medicaid will get slashed from that one big beautiful bill. SNAP and welfare programs can still take a financial hit because of that one big beautiful bill. Tariffs are still around, that is causing high grocery prices, that's causing pain, hurt, and harm for the farmers. ICE is still terrorizing immigrant communities. Yeah. So, what is next? I believe that there's more work to be done in the Senate for this deal, this agreement to completely pass, and then it gets pushed down to the House for them to do their thing, to sign off on it. And once they do that, it'll get pushed to Donald Trump's desk for him to sign off on it. So there's still some iterations in the process for this deal, this agreement to fail. But yeah, 8 Senate Democrats helped to push it along. If any one of these 8 Senate Democrats is your representative, take note. Take note. They all need to be voted out. If they're running for re-election, they need to be voted out. And they need to be reminded daily that you will vote them out. And that's on period.